All right, recording, hit record. All right, all right. But before we get started, I do want to. Okay, so everybody's doing good. Everybody's ready. How was today? How's the week? Where's our energy at? We feeling good? We feeling great? Feeling whatever?
I'm feeling better,
Feeling
I
better?
guess.
From what? Where were we at before better?
Mhm.
I've just been really drained,
uh,
and so I've been staying up later to catch up because I have homework and
uh,
stuff like that to do. I have my own podcast, so
uh,
I had to get my stuff together. So I was able to post my podcast last night and do my homework last night. And I have the bags to pay for it, but but other than that, I feel like I'm ready to go again, like, and get back on my shit when it
uh.
comes to social media and all the things.
That's a lot though. It's like all this. So like
Mhm.
I don't post often. Y'all see my page. It can be cricket sometimes. So I get it's. I don't know how you do. You just said you posted a podcast. Like we recorded like a couple days ago. I don't even have the energy to like go
Yeah,
in.
I had started doing them on my walks. So
Oh.
I had
Mm.
2 podcasts already ready to go,
Uh,
but I was supposed to post the other one of them at the beginning of this week, so then I can edit the other one and have it ready to post at the beginning of next week.
yeah.
But just life kept happening.
Right.
Real,
How about you,
real.
Evan? Where you at now compared to where you were at before? How's the week been going?
The week has been, I say mid-level. It
Mid
was good
level.
in between like, okay, we're at the real low, and then we're on like a little high, and then it comes back down. And now I'm like, okay, I really want to rest today.
Yeah.
But I have stuff I need to do. I need to clean, and also again prioritize like my social media career. Get the content out there. Keep
Yeah.
pushing. It's not easy. Me personally, I've said it's been hard because it's getting colder and it gets dark faster. So
Yeah.
by the time it's like 4, I'm like, oh, time to go to bed, right? No, we have like
Yeah.
6 hours of time I could still use to, fuel that passion. But it's been a little hard. It's just more of a mental thing. But staying consistent and trying to stay strong till the end of this year and into the next, because we got big goals. We got big goals.
Big goals,
Yeah.
absolutely. Okay, so I know
Yeah.
this has nothing to do with what we're actually going to be talking about, but like, because y'all are talking about consistency, and like routine. Like, do you guys have a routine, like something y'all always stick to, or to make sure you do whatever you need to? Because my problem is I don't have a routine. I don't like. I just kind of go as I go, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So like, do y'all have to like, okay, today I got to do this, 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 and this. This day I'm gonna do this, this, and this. Does that work for y'all?
No. I mean, I have a routine, I have an outline, but I have to one of the biggest things I had to learn is that I have to be hella flexible.
Mm,
One, because
Mhm.
of me, my mood, my emotions, all of my shit, but also because I have 2 little ones and I'm in charge of their mood and all their shit, right?
uh,
So that's one of the hardest things that's been going on this week is my son, he's very much like me. So he's a perfectionist when it comes to schoolwork, so he throws a tantrum when he doesn't get it right and he's all over the place. Meanwhile, I'm already having my feelings. My daughter's over there, she's done with her schoolwork. Meanwhile, me and my son's still struggling. And my son is like, she gets to do what she wants. No, she's earned that. And so I have to learn how to like go with that. And so
uh,
like I
Mhm.
said, I was behind this week as far as my everything. Like I
uh.
have content. I'm sitting on hella content right
Same.
now.
Like, files
For
and
real.
files and files of shit
Hella,
that just
yes,
needs to drop that
hella
shit.
content, and it's like not happening. But I
Uh,
had to. That's the other thing. Like the people are gonna be there. I have my people, my followers, my supporters,
uh,
Mhm.
and they're understanding that we have a life. You know what I
uh,
mean?
Mhm.
And so I didn't build all of this for it to be gone in a day. So
uh,
there are people who are rocking with me. The people who aren't, then they aren't my people. So I just kind
yeah,
of have to have like those little conversations with myself because the schedule does not always work. It's
Mhm.
good
absolutely,
to have an
absolutely.
outline, but it don't
Yeah,
always work.
Yeah,
It
I agree
don't.
too. That's literally how I would say this week happened. I do have a consistency in terms of what I need to do to prepare myself for the day
ah,
and for me to be able to go through the day, which is literally waking up, stretching, and then going to the gym and making sure that I have somewhat form of good health to start off, and that always lifts my energy. And then whatever happens after that is the list that follows for that day. Again, flexibility, making sure that you're taking into accountability that
Yeah.
life happens and it
Yeah.
doesn't always go the way that you want. But what matters is how you deal with it. Under different circumstances, we're all different. Deshay's a mom; she has kids. I don't have kids. I'm single and I live at home, so I have more freedom to and range to take care of those responsibilities. But then again, I'm also a human being, so I would say it does work. However, we are different people, and it just kind of differentiates between each person. But for me personally, it's been working so far.
Are you a perfectionist, or do you have perfectionist tendencies when you're releasing like content? Because like I was talking to Deshay about it. Like sometimes I don't release content because I'm just like I want it to look like this, and it's like the route to
Oh
get to
yeah.
this is like not available currently. So I just let it sit
Yep.
here. Okay, so like how is that for you? I promise after this we're getting to the actual conversation. Like I still got another
I
15
love
minutes of not the actual topic, but I'm curious though because I like to. We're talking to artists, so I'm curious y'all process
Yeah.
and how y'all go through things.
I'm gonna say, heck yeah. I've been a perfectionist ever since school, which is what, like for kindergarten, but
Yeah.
like more mentally develop that as you get older. I've noticed that my habits from perfectionism developed because of school, because I put the pressure on myself to be good at everything. I
Yeah.
wasn't pressured by my parents to be good at everything, which more so I'm an only kid, so they kind of, I'm assuming they expect a lot of me, so I just put it on myself. Okay, we got to get this done, we got to get this, be an overachiever, make sure we do that. So that was just me. But as an adult, when it comes to posting content and just like career stuff, I would say I still have that perfectionism. It's not so not such of a high standard. I recognize where, okay, it's okay to set a standard just little bit lower this time because we have to post that content. It
Yes.
is a matter of consistency and it is a matter of discipline. And no matter what that perfectionism voice has in your head, what you produce and how you value it and what you think of it is what's most important. And then that voice kind of just slowly goes away. So that standard is still there. However, it's lessened and keeps going a little bit lower. But I do falter here and there because, again, our emotions fluctuate, and
Yeah.
we can't always be perfect as much as we want to be. We are our own worst critic. We are
Yeah.
our own worst critic. So
Yeah.
um, just a matter of how you deal with it. But again, yeah, I do. I perfectionist since the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's hard. It's hard. It's hard to overcome that. It's so hard. But that's what I'm working
Mhm.
on, and this is where this whole podcast came into play because I've done it for a while, and then I've
Yeah.
altered certain things here and there, and I'm just like, oh, I want it to be like this, and I'm just like, let me just get back to fucking having these discussions, talking to people, and just
Yeah.
enjoying myself and being
Hmm.
around artists and being around people who have a message that they want to share. So with that being said, we need to get into it. We need to actually talk the shit. But y'all ready? I have like a few questions, not a lot of questions prepared, but just I just want to have an overall discussion. If you guys have questions, obviously feel free to ask. Because if you don't, I'm gonna keep going. So if you have something, feel free to interrupt me because I ask hella questions. But y'all good? Y'all ready?
Hmm.
Yes, let's go.
All right,
Let's
I feel like I should hit
go.
record now, but it's already playing. It's
Yes.
already good. All right, y'all. Hello, welcome to IDFK Podcast, and today I don't fucking know free will. I'm here with Dashay and Evan, and okay, so when I was talking about this topic, like I'm gonna be completely honest, I legitimately don't fucking know, and I usually don't like doing research for like I don't know, podcast or anything, but I ain't gonna lie. I looked up a couple videos. I looked up a couple couple things. I saw Neil deGrasse Tyson. Like I'm over here like watching videos, and all of it went over my head. I'm not gonna lie. All of it went completely over my head. So I went to Google Dictionary because they never let me down. And free will, by definition, is the power of acting without the constraint of necessity or fate, the ability to act at one's own discretion. So just just with that definition, one, do you have a different definition, or how do you define free will, and how is free will relevant in your life, or how do you view free will in relation to your life? We'll go with Deshay first. I'll start with you.
Yeah. Yeah. Please.
You see, I'm not big on definitions.
Yeah.
I like when you ask me, oh, what does this mean? I don't know. Okay. But I'm gonna tell you how I live my
I
life,
don't
okay?
fucking know.
So, right? Really?
Uh,
But I found this book and it's called The Courage to be Disliked.
mm,
And that to
Mhm.
me has been driving me when it comes to free will because it releases everyone else's opinions. You know
uh,
what I mean? It releases like my need to be a perfectionist, like in some ways, my need to be the perfect mom or the
uh,
perfect model or the perfect podcaster. And all the things, you know what I mean? I'm on my healing journey, but I also teach people on their healing journey. And so sometimes that makes me feel like I need to be perfect.
uh,
But it's like at the end of the day, I have the courage to be just like I have the courage to be raw, to be human, to be unique. You know what I mean? And so it releases all of that. It releases what society thinks and what my friends and family think, what my when I was religious, those religious beliefs that I had to hold on to that carried me through, you know what I mean? It releases all of that. And to me, that is free will. So for me, having the courage to be just like having the courage to be honest with yourself and
uh,
others, having the courage to be true to yourself, that is free will.
uh.
Mhm.
That's how
Mhm.
I defined it if I was putting a definition on
Yeah, I got you. I like it. I
it.
like it. How about you, Evan?
I I say I agree with the original definition, but I also agree with Deshay's interpretation of what she believes free will is. After hearing what you said, what the definition is, I was like, I mean, I pretty much agree with that. But then I think to narrow it down even more to one's own perception, specifically my own, yeah, it just comes with experience. And in my terms of what I believe free will is, and if I were to tell anybody else, is again what Deshay was saying, having the courage and the I would say the honesty with yourself to pursue whatever you want to do, regardless of what other people say, regardless of what other social standards or anything that restricts you. The courage and the excitement of chasing what you believe is meant for you is what I believe free will is to me.
Interesting. Okay, I like that. Okay, so another thing that I was looking up when I was googling free will because that is Google is my source of all knowledge. But okay, so have y'all ever seen the movie Minority Report?
Oh,
Gosh, oh man, I was hoping y'all did. Now I gotta explain this, do a shitty explanation of what this movie is. Okay. So Minority Report is this movie with Tom Cruise, and pretty much he's like a detective who essentially they're taking these psychic beings who are seeing many different alternate futures, and if there's ever a crime that is committed or a murder that is committed, pretty much I'm already fucking this up, but they are, but pretty much they are arresting people off of alternate future where they murder somebody. No, y'all haven't seen it. It's a very future. It's actually
um,
pretty damn good. It's a futuristic movie. But pretty much they're predicting they're seeing these futures and arresting people where there's a murder
or it happens.
involved. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Haven't seen it, but I've seen clips of it.
y'all gotta watch. Y'all gotta watch it. It's very interesting. But do you
Okay.
feel like there is actually or will ever be a something that allows you to see? Because like we have like people who consider themselves psychics or people consider themselves fortune tellers or all these different things. But do you guys actually believe that there is the possibility to see someone's future or that a future is even predetermined in general to actually see it? Does that make sense? What I'm asking?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say I don't think anything is like set in stone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even people who I feel like have that what do they call it? Prophetic gift or they're
Hmm.
seers or whatever.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that is them being able to read in between the lines, being able to see you like at your
Yeah.
core
Hmm.
in a way that you don't see you. And even the people who do will be like, don't talk to this person. And you're like, how the hell do you know who that person is? Like, I didn't even tell you about that person. Even that, I do feel like it's so many possibilities because like maybe like say someone said don't talk to Evan no more in the future he gonna do this whatever, right? Evan could be on his healing journey, I'm on my healing journey, and by the time that time reaches we didn't, it's cool. Like, you know what I mean? We didn't healed and everything. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So like, I feel like it's nothing set in stone,
Yeah.
for someone to be like, this is what your future is going to be, you
Yeah.
know? And there's just so much, we change so much. Like
Yeah.
I literally feel like I change every day. Like if I learn a lesson, oh, I'm applying it
Yeah.
and I'm walking in it. And I might have to learn it a couple more times for me to clean it up, but that's who I am. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I live and breathe affirmations. And once I find one that I need, I'm applying it. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so
I like that.
I feel like you can't just be like, this is what your future is going to be. And I'm a really big believer in, like, I'm the author. I don't care what that seer said or what someone projected on my life. I am the author. So I'm in charge of what I'm going to do, what I said I'm going to do, you know what I mean? And I think that sometimes we let those people have too much power.
Yeah.
Too much power. And so that's why, that's the other thing I tell people: take everything with a grain of salt that
Yeah.
other people say. We let their voices be way too louder than our own. And that's another reason why I'm big on affirmations, because I need to hear me speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hear it.
Yeah.
How about you? Where you at with
Man, let me go after that. No, that's a perfectionist talking. Uh,
it?
I would say I'll always agree with what Dashay is saying because she's pretty much preaching.
Yeah.
But to add more to that, I would say again, I think people see as like I feel as though the movie concept is a great way, but also a good belief to the standard of what was before.
Mm.
And I say this prior to what I believe happened before the pandemic, because I feel as though whatever happened before the pandemic was more so um, the reality is not really touching into everyone's development of their own personal self growth and what they believe their true journey is. Because
Mm.
the time that happened and the isolation of everyone being at home, I feel as though, and then actually tuning into what's happening with them right now. And from that time and here on forward, there has been tremendous progress
Yeah.
of therapy, first of all, that was never talked about,
Yeah.
opening up to people's emotions, and then being secure with how you actually, what you actually believe in, and why your voice matters.
Yeah.
So I feel as though that growth from that time to here and now has like literally propelled the way that we believe what our future is and how each individual has their own story to write.
Yes. Okay.
Nothing is set in stone. I feel as though that is something that is written in the past,
Mhm.
but as of right now, your story is determined by what you believe in, what a little bit of what other people say, because it kind of like it influences your story, but
Yeah.
how you receive it and how
Yeah.
you move forward with it is what will define your story.
Yes.
Yes.
And that's how you want your book to be written. That's how me and Dishay are kind of writing our books, and along with yourself by getting
Yes.
back into this podcast. So that's
Absolutely.
what I think about that.
I love it. I love it. And
Yes.
okay, you guys said a couple things that I'm going to touch up on, but one thing that a lot of pretty much when I started this, or when I was just started looking at this, I was trying to find situations where I can say a scenario is predetermined, like there is a guaranteed outcome that we all are led to. And I can only think of one. So the day we are born, there is only one guarantee that I can think of, and that's death. That is death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
so depending on how you look at it, pretty much the only thing you get to choose is how you die, or but really it's just you get to choose how you live. You get
Yeah.
to choose on how you live. And I try to flip it, I'm trying to, I was trying to be wise right there, but you so
I got it.
and
I
kind of
got it.
going on
Right?
trying to drop a bar right there. But but I like you
Yeah.
you guys dropped I like the metaphor with the script, or like with the book that y'all are writing your own book, because the way I feel free will, like I can go left, I can go right, I can go forward, I can go backward. I have the right to choose in whichever direction. Now, obviously, each direction provides, like if I go left, like it might have several alternate outcomes. If I go forward, it has several alternate outcomes. If I go this way, it has several alternate outcomes. And when I choose a direction, it might close a few outcomes, but at the end of the day, it's probably opening up another outcome and still leading me to the only guaranteed outcome, which is death. So it's just we really have the free will to choose how we live, but death is guaranteed. That's already been decided. So yeah. Yeah. How do y'all feel about that? Just, with each step you take, an alternate outcome is pretty much just leading you to your inevitable
True.
death.
It's honestly though, it's kind of exciting
Yeah.
because it makes you want to live, right?
Yeah.
Because what I was taught a lot in a lot of different business endeavors, especially as an entrepreneur, is like you work now and you play later. Like, you got to keep going. You got to do the hard work now. And then when your business is at this level, then you can
Then
play. Bitch, at
play.
that time, I'm tired. The
Like, I want to
fuck?
go home now. What the fuck is
Right.
this?
And so there's this phrase that a lot of people say that I've actually been saying my damn self. Is like, I've spent so much time surviving, now I want to live. Like,
Yeah.
I'm now in my 30s and there's a lot of shit that I have not done that a
Yeah.
lot of people did in their 20s. And I'm not comparing, I'm just saying I haven't lived. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so I feel like it's
Mhm.
exciting because it's like, ultimately that's where we're all going,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
why not enjoy ourselves on the way? Why not try this new class? Why not try out this new podcast?
Yeah.
Why not,
Yeah.
try this new topic that's a little risque? Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Why not do this weird photo shoot? You know what I mean? Try it out,
Mhm.
figure it out. If you like it, if you like it, you don't, you experienced
Yeah.
it, whatever, it happened. You know what I mean? But you're allowing yourself to grow and enjoy life and experience life instead
Yeah.
of just like in this survival mode, just trying to make it to the next month. Like you're just
Exactly.
in it, like
Mhm.
you're just really just working towards death instead of like living. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I find it exciting, especially because, like I said, it was really like heavily put in me, even like with church, with my mom, with life. Like it's always like you work hard, you work hard, you work hard. You know what I mean? You can take a vacation later.
Mhm.
You can, we don't have the money to be doing like, but you can make a trip happen, and it don't have to have a lot of money. Like, you know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
like little stuff like
Mhm.
that, that's what we're taught. You're not being wise with your money if you're doing this and this. But
This.
honey, I gotta take care of me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same
I
with
Yes.
me.
gotta
I
take
gotta take
care of
care.
me. I gotta have some fun. I gotta do
Yes.
something. And it's something that I decided this year that I was gonna do for me. Like last year, I spent, well, technically it's still this year, but I just turned 31, y'all, so it's my next year. Anyways,
Mhm.
um, so so last year I spent a lot of money. I spent a lot of money coming to Sacramento, y'all. A lot of money coming to Sacramento for things that weren't entirely for me, for
Yeah.
things that I didn't gain a lot out of.
Yeah.
And I'm like, shit, if I worked hard to make that money and spend that money on other people, I can utilize that to spend money on things I want to do. I want to take a pottery class. I want to take an art class. I
Yeah.
want to take a singing class, a dance. Like, you know what I mean? I want to live my
Mhm.
life. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so for me, it's exciting. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Death is gonna happen whenever it happens. Until then, I'm gonna do
Hey.
me, but I'm still pursuing my dreams, baby. But I'm
Yeah.
still going to have some fun.
Hell yeah. Hell
Yeah.
yeah. I like it. I
Yes.
like it.
Yes. Oh, how am I supposed to go again?
I'm gonna go to you first next time. I'm sorry, cause she over here dropping gems and shit. You
I
done said
know.
everything, girl. You said it all.
Like, oh my
That's it.
god.
I'm Auntie Shay. I'm the wise old aunt.
Oh.
I mean, I
Again,
could
I
ask another
agree.
question. I
Well,
can
wait.
get.
I
Yeah.
wanted to say something about
She
what
gonna
Evan
take
said
something
earlier.
else now.
No, because Evan said, he said that it's about what we want, but it's also a little bit about the influence that other people have on
Yeah.
Mhm.
us. And that was powerful to me because sometimes, like, I have gotten to a place where I really try not to let other people's opinions affect me.
Mm.
But of course,
Mhm.
there's people we care about who's we value their opinions, whether we taking it with a grain of salt or not. And I've learned though that sometimes when people I care about, they doubt my dream because they can't see the full picture.
Picture. Yep.
It feels me so much. And I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm about to prove you wrong. You know what I mean? Like, and so that's like one of my favorite quotes is I defy the odds. And so I'm glad that you pointed that out because
Ooh.
we can say, I don't care about what such and such says all day long. But
Yeah.
in reality, like you said, it is going to seep in at some point, especially when it's the
Mhm.
people we care about and we value their opinion. So I just want to say that.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, I got a question for Evan
Yeah.
first. I got a question for Evan first. But because and it's piggybacking off of what you're saying, but I guess my question to you is, do you feel like you have one, do you have a purpose? And two,
Mhm.
who is determined? Like, do you feel that purpose is determined by you, or do you feel like that purpose is determined by something else? Do you even feel you have a purpose, like like your goal, whatever that is?
That's a good
Mhm.
existential question. I would say I've grown to learn a little bit more about what my purpose is as of right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only 23 years old, so I've lived that long on this life.
Mm-hmm.
I feel as though I haven't reached the full understanding of what my exact purpose here is on this earth. However, I'm like taking little steps to figuring it out.
Yeah.
Um, it's because I am young and I am venturing out and figuring out the type of career and paths I want to take just to grow myself mentally, physically, spiritually. Um, it's been a lot. And I remember one specific moment going back to the pandemic. This is um, a time where a lot of uncertainty, a lot of self reflection, and just true and deep honesty with myself.
Yeah.
That's where I was questioning, well, like, what is my purpose? I feel like a lot of us were questioning what was our purpose because we're such a social people in society as just human beings that being isolated for a year, two, possibly going to three, and then the existential like effects of that um, is it can be traumatizing. But I took that time to reflect and to really dive deep because I felt as though the only reason I was questioning what my purpose was in life um, is because I had that time to reflect and really sit down with myself.
Yeah.
And I felt as though that was the one of the best things anyone can ever do with themselves, as much as it is hard to just stop and not want to do A, B, and C and
Yeah.
always be productive because we're trained and conditioned to be that way. And that is only in the US. I'm going to
Yes.
say that. That is literally only
Yes.
in the US.
Absolutely.
And as it literally blows my mind that this is the kind of the reality that we like literally live in. I obviously don't want to practice that, and I don't see myself continuing that. But until then, until I have the freedom to do so, I feel as though I have a bit understanding of what my purpose is, and I'm okay with learning and taking it day by day
Yeah.
because I feel as though the pressure to have your purpose predetermined by someone else, by what other people say, and even by yourself of what you believe your purpose should be right now, because by the age of 25, you got to have it all together. No, that has changed.
Shit, I fucked up.
Yeah, that has
That part.
literally changed. So much has changed within the past couple of years that the reality of what used to be back then and the reality of what is now has changed drastically,
Yeah.
and that's okay.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. I
Mhm.
love it. You know, a
Yeah.
lot of what you said, the whole idea of IDFK was really just finding comfort in not knowing. Like, I feel like,
Yeah.
if I have a purpose, I can create my purpose, but it's perfectly fine if I don't fucking know. I don't fucking
Hmm.
know what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't fucking know where I'm supposed to be. I know I'm here. I'm going to do what I can in this very moment, but I don't fucking know. And we need to be,
Mhm.
we're so uncomfortable with not knowing. We're so
Yes.
uncomfortable with just, like, we need to just be okay with not being okay. Like, we are so,
Yeah.
like, it's such a place that we're like, ugh, ew, you don't, like even in school, like, I was a teacher, and I remember, like, if I ask a question, if the student doesn't know the answer, they're not going to raise their hand. They're not going to say they don't know. They're just
Hmm.
going to sit in the back and stay quiet. What's wrong with saying, like, I don't fucking know? What's wrong with saying, like, hey, I don't have the answer. I don't know what my purpose is. I'm here to, but part of learning is admitting you don't know something. So I don't know.
Hmm.
Anyways, go ahead, Dashay. What you feel? What you
I
feel?
love that. I love both of what you said. I love that Evan said taking it one step at a time, because even when you do know your purpose,
Yeah.
it's pressure. It's pressure
Hmm.
because you're like, I need to be doing this, this, and this, and this. And you're like, I'm working for all these other people. No, honey, you still have to work for yourself.
Yeah.
So
So,
taking it
yep.
one step at a time, it's very hard to do, but it's so fucking necessary.
Yeah.
It really is. even like taking it like an hour at a time, honey, because man, you know, my goodness. And just like you said, normalizing that you don't know, like that is something that I had to grow comfortable with. And I didn't grow
Yes.
comfortable with that until like I would be communicating with men that were older than me, and they'd be like, I don't know, explain that to me. And I'd be like, oh, because usually people are so prideful. You know what I mean? Even me, look, if you send me a text message, I don't know what that word means. I'm going to Google it and then I'm going to respond as if I already knew what the hell it was. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
So
no, yeah, yeah.
I had to grow. I had to grow comfortable with that too, with not knowing and with making mistakes. Those are two things that I
Yeah.
had to grow comfortable with. You
Mhm.
know, and honestly, a little bit what helped me what when that brought to my attention was more so like with like superheroes on the shows. They always want to like tame the superhero, right? Because
Yeah.
they don't understand these people's
Yeah.
powers. So
Yeah.
they want to tame them. They want rules. They want to utilize them as a weapon, all the things. You know what I
Mm.
mean? And so I feel like I don't know, that's what kind of brought it to my mind when I was discovering being comfortable with not knowing,
Yeah.
because it's powerful. It's we don't know everything. You know what I mean? Evan, you said you're 23, but there's still shit that you know that I don't know, and I'm
Fact.
31. Like, right? You know, we have different experiences, we have different
Is,
interests. So
yeah.
you might be studying something that I haven't even thought to study, but it's helpful to me. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
actually seeing it from your perspective is more helpful than if I would have went and researched it myself. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think it's powerful to have different mindsets, different knowledge. And I'm glad that you started this podcast for that reason. It's
Hmm.
beautiful. So I'm excited to keep watching and seeing and all the things. As far as
I second
purpose
that.
goes, as far as the question, the actual
Oh
question,
shit. I thought
oh, I know my purpose. But I found my purpose as a child. I was like, I'm gonna be a therapist. Ooh.
Yeah.
But then it fell off. You know, life happens, falls
Yeah.
off. I lost myself, found myself, and this year I was connected with my purpose. And so my purpose is to utilize all the things that I've learned in my healing and my progress to help others in their healing, so they don't have to suffer as long as I suffered, you know what I mean? And if I can give a piece of advice, if I can give some words of affirmation, if I can help pull people from that darkness, because there is a lot of darkness in the world, but our light is more powerful.
Yeah.
So that's my purpose and I'm walking in
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I
it.
have so many more questions. Okay, so what I apologize, but I'm not sorry at all. Okay, so what you said about you lost yourself and you found yourself, like that's very interesting to me because it's like
Yeah.
when you lose, like if you lose yourself and you find yourself, does that mean there were multiple versions of yourself, or like because to, or did you are you is it the same person that you just lost and found, or did you rediscover another version of you or more about yourself? I'm just
So
curious
the
about
way
that.
the way I
Yeah.
see it is, it's this is the way I look at things. I was the same person, right? But even like with life, I'm still like, we come as a baby and we grow, right?
Yeah.
So I have talents and I work them like a muscle and they get stronger like a
Yeah.
muscle, right? So I feel like I've always been, a leader. I've always been goofy. I've always had knowledge, but I sat on it
Mm-hmm.
because and those in a lot of situations it didn't benefit me because it pushed people away, and I wanted attachments, I wanted to feel connected, I wanted to feel wanted, I wanted to feel loved, and so I was willing to shrink parts of me so that I would have those relationships, so that I would have those connections. And I did it a lot, like a lot. Like my first marriage was like that. My friendship with my best friend, we were friends from since high school. For we just ended our friendship like last year. Like so that was like over 10-year friendship, but I shrank myself the majority of that friendship. She didn't know who I really was. And when I felt comfortable being who I really was, it would get pushed down, like because it was friction, you know what I mean? um so it was
Hmm.
a lot of stuff like that, so I shrank myself, and so that's how I lost myself, by shrinking myself.
I
You
see. I
shrink
see.
yourself enough and then you disappear and you just become the image these people want to see.
I see, I
But
see.
then as I started loving myself again, I started getting reconnected with those parts of myself. Now I'm reconnected with those parts of myself and I'm able to tap into those skills and grow them and improve them and be the full me. That's why I
Yeah.
call this year my unleashed and
I
elevated.
love it. I love it.
And my year 30 was my rebirth because I
Love it.
spent all that time healing myself and getting reconnected with myself. And now I'm unleashed and elevated and I'm ready to see where I can take these skills that I now have, how I
Yeah.
can make them better and improve on them and work on them and build on them to be at my highest potential.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Very well said.
Very, very, very well said. Oh my gosh, I
Mhm.
had a question and it literally was there until the very end of what you said. Oh my gosh. Okay, but one thing I'll ask, because religion and free will are two things that sometimes I don't know, they might seem to butt heads. I don't know if any of you are religious at all. But I guess my question is, do you feel there's a way where religion and free will can coexist? Is that, or do you feel like, because I don't know, I guess a lot of people who feel free or feel about free will don't necessarily agree that religion can coexist or be in the same place. How do y'all feel about that? I don't know if y'all are religious or not, but just curious where you're at with all
I
that.
grew up religious.
Yeah,
I now believe in having just a relationship with God. I don't
yeah,
believe in organized religion.
yeah, yeah,
I feel like religion puts a lot of restraints on you, which is why it
Mhm.
takes a lot to reconnect with yourself and find those parts of you. Like I had a lot of rules on my life. You know what I
yeah,
mean? That's what kind of started my first marriage. Is we had to be married to live together. Meanwhile, nowadays, because it was called shacking up.
yeah,
Can't be shacking up. Now everybody be shacking up. Like y'all be with people for 7 years and y'all ain't married. You know what I mean? And so it's not a
trying to pay the
problem.
bills.
But
Like I'm trying
Yeah.
to, I
in
got
the
bills.
church
Yeah.
it was a problem, and
Yeah,
so that's pressure that took away my free will to even decide if this was someone I wanted to spend the rest of my life with. You know what I mean?
mhm,
Right.
That time for me to develop my own mindset and decide, like I said, if this was a commitment that I wanted to make, right? um I think that spirituality and free will can exist, but I think that religion really does put a lot of restraints on you because you're told to live by these certain rules. It's just like
Yeah.
with society. Society puts rules and expectations on us. Religion puts rules and expectations on you, but then they kind of be like, you're going to hell if you don't do this. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Um, okay. So,
Guest star.
but yeah, so I don't think they can exist, to be honest.
How about you? How do you feel?
Um, I if I were to say like just based off of answering a yes or no, I would say I I would just say no. But if I were to explain myself and if I were able, well, obviously I can't, but if I were to explain more into why I would say yes, and how I would and what I believe why it is yes is more so I didn't grow up religiously. My parents grew up in a Catholic household, but they weren't like disciplined enough to live by the rules. So I grew up with it, but I didn't. It wasn't practiced in my household. It's more so okay. We did this, but we're not gonna teach you to be like this because we personally didn't like church to begin with.
Yeah,
It wasn't something that they truly believe in. It's just more so I'm following what my parents saying, and just I'm living with them, so I got to do what they got to do.
yeah,
But I wasn't growing up like that. So to me, religion has never played a big role into my life. And I've seen the way that it has affected others in the way that they live their lives based off what, again, they believe that one God believes their life should be and should
yeah,
follow this path because of the way that life is back then and what they believe that life can still live to today. But that is not true.
yeah,
I believe that is like a false, not necessarily a false. It was true back then, but it's not so true now because things have changed drastically.
yeah.
This is a different time. This is a different era, and this
So
is
different.
also a different like infrastructure and the way that we think that it is advanced. Um, and I feel as though it again, it always brings back to how people raise their kids and how people are individually. I feel as though religion and free will can live and can coexist together. It's just a matter of how you take the best of both worlds and then make it your own.
Yeah.
Because if I was a religious parent and I was raising a kid, I would want them to practice their own beliefs, but take into consideration that they have the freedom to live their own life because they weren't brought into this life by choice. I
Yeah.
brought you into this life. However, I want you to have the freedom to explore whatever it is you need to fulfill your own peace. Because at the end of the day, you are going to live your life, and again, you are going to die. But I would
Yeah.
want you to live in the best way possible, and for me to not have any set of boundaries of how you should live. Rather, more so, I'm giving you the knowledge that I've learned, but you take into consideration what you get from that and move on.
Yeah. You said so much. Okay, so I want to comment on it because both of you actually said something about rules, pretty much, or just like things that we have to like, or how religion can create rules. But I feel like, you know,
Hmm.
society in general creates these rules that ultimately limit our free will. You know, obviously there's some
Oh
certain
yeah.
things where we might agree, maybe not agree, but like, okay, we don't want to kill anybody. But in reality, we have so many things that we're not able to do. So I think it's so interesting because society is very anti-free will if you think about it. Society is very, very anti-free will. Like, you know,
Yeah.
why do you feel like that is? Why do y'all feel like we talk about free will and we talked about how free will can be so beneficial to us, but how it seems like all the things around us don't want us to have that free will, like our job, our government, like all these different things prevent free will almost.
I think it goes back to understanding, like my little scenario with the superheroes. Like they want, I feel like when things are in order and we're all moving the same way, they're able
Hmm.
to understand. You know what I mean? They're
Mm,
able to control, they're able to understand, they're able to move you the way they want to move you. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I think that it gives them comfort. It comforts their anxiety. You know, people, like you said, people have anxiety around not knowing.
mm,
You know what I
Yes.
mean? If I don't know where you're going to take your career and your career may affect me, then I'm going to like try to make sure you stay right here. You know what I mean?
mhm,
And so I don't understand why people have that fear though, completely. I know like it's I think it's different with each individual, but I
Hmm.
think that as far as society goes, they kind of want us to move a certain way, and that's why there's all these social norms, you know what I
uh,
mean? And we are supposed to behave according to these norms. And it's funny because I just talked about this on my podcast, and there is this phrase that helped me in Alice in Wonderland. And Alice said, "Who's to say what's proper?" And that stuck with me because
mm.
it's like, who is saying these rules and why do we have to follow them?
Who the
You
fuck
know what I
is
mean?
you? Who like
Like,
who is you?
what is you know? And so I think that I do think it's fear though. I
Mm,
think it's fear because
Yeah.
like if we're all falling in line, if we're all, you know, behaving according to these rules, they can control where we're moving and
mm.
how things are going in society.
All comes down control. Uh,
Oh, so good. I
Should have went to you first because she over here, you know, she dropping these gems, and I'm like, yo, come
uh,
on.
right. Like this needs to be like a separent episode for each one. It's
Oh,
too good. I
I
think
love it though. I love it. I
I
love it.
no, yeah, for real. It really helps me answer and better like put it into perspective of how I'm trying to answer. So I like Dashay goes first sometimes. Because I'm like, I don't know, I kind of have to think about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, I agree with Dashay. I feel as though the social norms that we have is implemented for us. I think it plays into the role of life. When you come into life, you come into this world as a baby. You don't have any knowledge, you don't have any knowing of what's going on. But the parents who are older, they have lived this life for X amount of years, depending however old they are. So they're passing down the knowledge of what they learned from their time to you. But then as you grow older, from like, let's say a child to a teenager, from that age, you're starting to get a little bit of better understanding of how you're dealing with your emotions.
Yeah.
and how a little bit of what the world is going on, but then again, still influenced into the social norms, into what your parents are saying, and then everything else that follows. So
Yeah.
you're what is it? Your mind is still maturing, and I feel as though I think with each gender and each person, their mind fully develops at like 25, or it kind of just depends.
Something like
Um, yeah, something like that. But it plays into the role of life again, because each year that you grow older, you learn something new.
yeah.
And I feel as though we grow into our truest selves and break away from the social norms, um, the more that we get older, because the old people tell this all the time, like they're always wise. I've lived this long life, I know,
Yeah.
blah blah blah
I
blah
know
blah.
this. I
But
know all
they,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
but like it's not necessarily more so like a narcissist or just egotistical. I've been there, done that, and this is what I'm saying. It is really relaying the truth of their experience,
yeah.
because they lived life, but they lived they broke away from that with age and with time
Yeah.
and with experience. I feel as though free will is only last accepted as we're going, as from like toddler to like maybe midlife adult, because we're trying to figure out, we don't want to break away from what is like different from everyone else. We want to fit into
You
that
want to
social
fit
norms, be
into, yeah.
accepted. Yeah,
Yeah.
because without community, there is nothing. That is
Yeah.
where you become lost. That is where you don't know who you are. That is where you feel these negative thoughts, and it may spiral into something drastic.
Yeah.
And that is why I feel as though social norms are created. However, depending whatever life throws at you and how you deal with it with age and with time,
Yeah.
that's where it becomes okay, well, you don't really need to live by that, and you can live the way that you want.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to have it. However, you don't have to live by that.
I like it. Yeah. No, I feel that. I feel like you're about to say something. I feel like you're about to say.
Me? It's a lot. It was so good. And so, like you said, it's structure there. It's definitely structure there. And like you said, what I've heard a lot from older people is like they gain that courage to not care about what other
Hmm.
Oh
people
my
are thinking.
Yeah,
God.
And
that
so
part.
they're like, I say what I want. I just say what I want. And a lot of people, it's funny because it's getting younger now. Like before, it was like 60s, like when you hit your 60s. But
Hmm.
I'm hearing a lot of people. They're like, ever since I turned 30, I really just don't give a fuck.
Somewhat accurate. I'm not gonna lie. Like once I hit that point, I'm
Yes,
like,
but I think
man.
it's yeah, I think it's beautiful though. I also think it's cool when we can find those moments younger. Like I've seen that in you, Evan.
Hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? You just going forth and doing what you want. Um because people will advise us all day long, and it doesn't mean that their advice is
Yeah.
wrong, but it just may
Hmm.
not be for you, or maybe the whole advice may not be for you or
Mhm.
whatever. But I think I get that too. I think that, like you said, the social norms really are more so applicable when we're younger, because we want to fit in. We have our peers. We're just breaking away from
Hmm.
home, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? We're trying to like go with the vibes and be with our friends or whatever. And in this career in modeling, it's hard because you want to be seen, but the reality is you're going to be seen by having the courage to be disliked, by being true to yourself, by having the courage to be honest, and by
Hmm.
developing more free will. And I don't think that we get completely free. Like you said, there's
Right.
society has rules,
Society.
we got laws, we got
Yeah.
stuff,
Hmm.
we have our own personal morals. We
Yeah.
might get with somebody and they might have their morals that we kind of respect, we tolerate, whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't think we're gonna be fully free willed.
Free.
But
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
think if we can get as close, to just being true to ourselves, being honest with ourselves regularly as often as possible, I think that that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
You saying that, and you pretty much said at the end, like you don't know if we'll ever be fully free, because I was just thinking about it, like
Yeah.
even the options or the decisions we have, like the decisions we have, those are options sometimes we've been given, right? Like I said, I can
Hmm.
go left, right, forward, backwards, but maybe I want to go diagonal this way, but that option may not be provided for me, right? Just
Right.
society, like living and dying are my only real, two options, and I don't think I fully have control of that either, but the direction we go, we may feel we have the decision to choose what direction we go, but the directions we go sometimes feel like they're given to us. Does that make sense? Like if I'm going down the road and I see I either got to go left or I got to go right, like I'm choosing which direction I go, but I didn't get to choose where these directions lead to. I didn't get to choose, like, I don't know if that makes
Mhm.
sense, but
Yeah.
basically what you said just brought that up for me, but I ain't got no question for that.
Yeah.
I ain't got no
No, it
question to
makes
follow
sense.
up, but
Yeah, it makes sense.
It makes
It makes
sense.
sense.
You know, opportunities are gonna come regardless,
Yeah.
and we
Mhm.
get to decide what we do with those opportunities. But then those opportunities can lead us down another road, and so like you said, it's like we have a choice, but it's also the choices are given. Like if I take an opportunity, they're gonna require me to be a certain way, and so I
I
have to
love it.
decide if I want to walk in that or if I want to go the other way and leave that opportunity.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so, but I also feel like just to say, just from learning what I experienced, there have been times where I took opportunities that I thought were amazing, and they were. I learned a lot from them, but they did require me to shrink into a role that wasn't me, and I
Mhm.
decided to make that decision. And so you have to be careful about those decisions because I spent a lot of time in those roles, shrunk, not living to my
Yeah.
potential, and it wasn't like a muscle that I needed to work. It was like I literally had the potential to be up here, but I was putting myself down here just to be connected to certain people. So it's good to be mindful, but it's also good to just take the damn leap. Because I made that mistake, but I learned so much, and I
Yeah.
myself in it, and I found lessons that I needed that I probably wouldn't have learned if I
Yeah.
wouldn't have made that mistake. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
I
Mhm.
like to think I'm a big find the silver lining person. Find the lesson,
Hell yeah.
find the positive, leave the rest, and keep going.
I love it. I
Right.
love it.
Right.
So with that being said, I want to ask y'all, do you have any final thoughts on the topic of free will? And because I got one more thing I want to say. It's goofy. It has nothing to do with anything, but I want to know if you guys have any final thoughts or any questions y'all want to ask before we move on. Cool, perfect. All right. By the way, both of y'all have to give words of wisdom. So just know you got to do that. So we think about it now. But okay, so I want to tell y'all a little story. So yesterday, me and my brother, we got Chinese food, and I really like fortune cookies. So I got a
Mhm.
fortune cookie, and this is what my fortune cookie said. Travel is in your future. You can't see that, but travel is in your
Ooh.
future. Now, obviously, that's the most fucking like like that's the like okay, duh. But I thought it was dope. I opened it up this morning and read it, and I was like, all right, that's cool. Travel is my future. So I guess that is a predetermined outcome. So there we go.
Yeah. So where you going now? Now you
Where am I
gotta put
going?
Right.
legs on that.
Oh,
Legs
where
on
am I
that
going? Okay, so I want to go a lot of places. I want to go
manifestation.
to I want to go everywhere. I want to go to New York. I want to go to Tahoe. I want to go back to Japan. I went to Japan many moons ago, and it is my by
Yes.
far my favorite place to go. It's my the favorite place that I've been. I've only been once. I went to Okinawa and Iwakuni, and it was lovely. I would love to go to Tokyo and plenty of other places. So travel's in my future. Exactly where I don't fucking know, but we're going. That's another topic. That's another podcast episode.
Yes, yes, yes,
All right,
yes.
words of wisdom. I'm going to Evan first. Words of wisdom. So just give us some couple words. Also, let us know where we can find you, so we can
Okay.
reach you for all your socials, all that.
Um, my socials are at Avir Evergreen. Everything is linked in the bio for everything else for the socials. A word of wisdom for
Yeah,
you, I would say, is to do something you love every single day that
Yeah.
makes you happy. It does not have to be big, it can be small, and make sure to be okay with that because you never know when your last moment on here on earth may be. And one thing that I learned is that if you are happy in the moment, at least you die happy.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah.
take it away. The shades. It
You know I'm gonna have
rhymed.
to do it. You know how to do it.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, wait, hold on. I'm Dashay Carter. You can find me everywhere, literally everywhere. Um, as Dashay Carter, that is Dashay, last name Carter. All right. Remember that you are worthy always. You are worthy of free will. You are worthy of giving yourself grace. You are worthy of giving yourself flexibility. You are worthy of giving yourself love, honey. You are worthy of self
Yeah.
love.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you are worthy of taking things one step at a time. That's
I love it. I
it.
love it. Well, thank you once
Yes.
again. This is the IDFK podcast. I'm here with Dashay and Evan, and we will see you. I don't fucking know when, but we will see you next time. Thank you, y'all. Thank you. Yay!
Yay!